Right. Air conditioning is something that's going to be pumping for the next week, Cutter, because it's going to be so hot out there.
Yeah, Kelsey, as we've talked about, this is one of those weeks where you may find out, unfortunately, if you have an AC issue, just because it's going to be running probably the most it has run since about this time last year. We have several heat alerts in effect. If you missed it off the top of the newscast, we have many different colors on the map. Don't want you to get confused in that kind of pinkish purplish shading. That is an extreme heat warning. Heat index temperatures up to possibly 110 degrees. Eastern Shore, again, a higher threshold. It's more humid east of the Chesapeake on even a normal summer day. That is why, even though we're looking at a couple of degrees less, it's actually technically a notch lower on the advisory scale. And then in the far western Maryland, Allegheny County, heat index temperatures up to 102. So a much lower threshold to get an alert because you're higher elevation. And again, we have a variety of elevations and climates across the state of Maryland. That's why everyone has a bit of a different threshold before you see a particular alert. Still 83 degrees at 11 o'clock. That dew point at 70. That's going to be an issue here for the next few days. Not only is it going to get incredibly hot, approaching records, it's June. It always gets hot. It's Maryland, right? But this, even by our standard, is relatively exceptional and could break a few records. And you factor that in with the humidity. We're waking up to muggy conditions. Not much of a cool off overnight. Then it will be hottest, of course, afternoons and early evenings. 77 Westminster, College Park 77, Easton at 77. On your corner in Baltimore County, probably coolest up to the north and east, right along the Harford County line near the Pennsylvania state line. West Liberty, cool spot at 76. Most of us a little closer to 80. 79 in Baltimore City by 7 o'clock. 94 at 11 a.m. So we are bound for about 100 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Fewer clouds than what we had today, and really not much of a chance of rain at all, not even an isolated shower. And when you factor in the moisture, the humidity in the air could feel like it's 105 to 110 through the peak of the afternoon. It's already going to be hot at noon, but probably the worst of it roughly 2 p.m. through about 7 p.m. Just because we're later in the evening, we're after the hottest point of the day, humidity tends to come up as we get to dinner time, and that's why it may feel just as hot then as it did earlier in the afternoon. Baltimore, 100 your forecast high. Westminster, 101, 100 in Clinton. Eastern Shore, solid upper 90s. Even our bay adjacent communities will be a little cooler, but still low to mid 90s, and that is right on the water. Baltimore City neighborhood forecast, Cherry Hill 101, Edmonton 101, Curtis Bay 103, possibly 101 up at Roland Park. Also want to let you know, in case you see it on Facebook here, area of storminess near Bermuda moving out to sea. 40% chance it could quickly get a name between now and about this time tomorrow. So the tropics pretty quiet, but we're watching that one system. No impact to the United States. Remember to wear loosely fitting light colored clothing. Take frequent breaks, especially if you're working outside in the afternoon. Lots of water, the electrolytes too, and then protect your pets. And remember the elderly, those susceptible to heat issues. Same conditions Tuesday, same story Wednesday with a slightly greater rain chance, and then a little cooler scattered downpours to end the week. Kelsey.
All right, Cutter, thank you. We'll check in tomorrow morning on WJZ starting at 4:30 for updated news, weather, and traffic.